Hello people, welcome back to my channel. So I've got a little bit of a different video today. So those of you who follow me on Twitter would know that I have started watching Game of Thrones. I started watching Game of Thrones at the end of April and I challenged myself to watch the entire 8 series by the end of May. So as of recording this video, I am in the middle of season 6, so I think I'm doing pretty well. Most of my May has been taken up with watching Game of Thrones, thinking about Game of Thrones, just generally being obsessed with Game of Thrones, so it's only natural that I'm going to incorporate Game of Thrones into my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sorting Game of Thrones characters into their Hogwarts houses. Now this video is going to be completely spoiler free, mainly because I'm only up to series 6, and because I haven't watched every episode like some of you guys may have, I don't want to talk about characters who may change late in the later series. I don't want to say a character is a certain person if it turns out that I was wrong and they end up being a completely different person later on. So to save myself from all of that, I'm just going to mention characters who have died between series 1 and 6. I may do another one later on when I finish Game of Thrones so I can mention some more of the main characters. So yes, without further ado, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe to join my little magical corner, and if you enjoyed this video then don't forget to leave a like. So there's no particular order in which I mention these characters, it's just completely random, and the first one I'm going to be sorting is Robb Baratheon. I thought I'd find it more difficult to sort characters that only appeared in one series, but I actually found Robb Baratheon quite easy to sort. I have decided to sort him into Gryffindor. So Robb Baratheon, before he was a king, he was a warrior. He took part in the defeat of the Mad King and he became king of Westeros himself. He's a generally good guy, I think. And yeah, like I said, he had bravery, he was courageous. So yeah, for me, Robb Baratheon is a Gryffindor. The next character I'm going to be sorting is another one that died in series 1, and that is Eddard Stark. Okay, so my first thought for Eddard Stark was of course Gryffindor, because again, he was a good fighter. He was with Robb Baratheon when they took down the Mad King. He was a good swordsman, he was a good leader, being Lord of Winterfell, Warden of the North, and then he became Hand of the King. But I have decided to sort Eddard Stark into Hufflepuff. Because what I take away from Eddard Stark is his loyalty to his family, the Starks, his loyalty to Winterfell. He wanted to find justice for Jon Arryn's death. He worked hard to find out how he died. You see how I'm trying to work in all of the traits in these explanations. But yeah, for me, Eddard Stark is definitely Hufflepuff. The next person I want to sort is Joffrey Baratheon, or Lannister, whichever one you want to call him. I personally see him as a Lannister because he is by blood, but he's Baratheon by name, so whichever one you want to call him. Joffrey Baratheon. Okay, so I hate this character. He is one of my most hated characters in the entire series. I prayed each episode when I watch him, seeing him get worse, seeing all the bad things that he would do. I prayed that he would die, and when I saw his death, I was just like, yes, ding dong, the king is dead. I actually literally sang ding dong, the king is dead. I've sorted him into Slytherin. Him being such a horrible character is not the reason why I've sorted him into Slytherin, because not everyone who is bad is Slytherin, and Slytherin isn't just full of bad people. It just so happens that Joffrey, for me, is a Slytherin. That is mainly, for me, because of a process of elimination. I mean, he's not a Gryffindor, he's not brave, he abandoned the Battle of the Black Lake, he's not loyal or hardworking or anything like that, so he's definitely not a Hufflepuff. He's not smart, so the only other place I could sort him is Slytherin. But I would say he was quite cunning and ambitious in the things he wanted to do and the things he did do. So yeah, for me, Joffrey Baratheon, aka Lannister, for me, is a Slytherin. Next up, Robb Stark. What a lovely character he was. He gets appointed as the King of the North. I loved his relationship with that healer girl. Can't remember her name at the moment. I love the fact they had a secret wedding. I was afraid that was going to backfire on him. That scene to happen with him and Catelyn's death, like, I was absolutely devastated when I watched that episode. The end of series 3, wasn't it? 2 main characters, both dead just like that. He was a lovely guy. He made a grave mistake not marrying one of the Frey daughters. So yeah, Robb Stark, I have, of course, decided to sort him into Gryffindor. He was courageous, he was brave and chivalrous. He had the nerve to go into battle. You know, he had really good battle strategies. So yes, Robb Stark for me is a Gryffindor. I've mentioned her, I may as well go to her next. Catelyn Stark. I had a bit of difficulty deciding where to place Catelyn, but I decided overall to place her in Ravenclaw. She is a very intelligent woman. She was an advisor for her son. She didn't like a lot of the decisions Robb made, and if Robb had actually taken aboard what his mother said, he may have survived. Yeah, I definitely see her as a Ravenclaw. Next up, Barristan Selmy. Obviously a Gryffindor. I mean, he was one of the best fighters at King's Landing. He was considered one of the most famous knights in the Seven Kingdoms. He was Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. He was a very good fighter, and he died a very noble death. I love the fact that when he was forced to retire from the Kingsguard, he went straight to Daenerys and pledged his allegiance to her, basically. Yeah, he was just a really good guy, and definitely brave and courageous and chivalrous and all the traits of Gryffindor. My next character, Maester Aemon Targaryen. What a lovely man he was. He was just so nice. He had a way with people, you know, he saw the best in people. I must admit, my first thought for him was Hufflepuff, but I've decided to place him in Ravenclaw because he is very intelligent. The fact that most of the time you saw him, he was in the Castle Black Library. Yeah, such a nice guy. I'm so glad that he died a natural death and he wasn't killed. Maester Aemon for me is a Ravenclaw. Next, Stannis Baratheon. Stannis, I guess, was technically a good guy. Slightly questionable at the end with what he did to his daughter, but he was technically a good guy. Nevertheless, I still just didn't like him. I didn't like his whole relationship with the Red Woman. I don't really like the Red Woman. Every time it went to their storyline, I just sighed. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't like Stannis. And I was quite indifferent with his death, to be honest. But yeah, like I said, he was a nice guy. Nevertheless, I have decided to put him in Slytherin, which just goes to show that not every bad guy will be in Slytherin. He was ambitious. He believed he was the rightful king of Westeros. Definitely cunning. He proved near the end of his life that he would literally do anything to try and get there, to try and get to where he wants, to win every battle he can. He sacrificed his daughter, and that ended up very badly for him. Stannis for me is the whole embodiment of Slytherin. The next character is the wildling Ygritte. I loved Ygritte. My favourite part actually about her was the way she said Jon's name, just like Jon Snow. And like every time I say Jon Snow's name to my boyfriend, I'm just like, Jon Snow. And when she died, I was just like, oh, we're never going to hear her say Jon Snow again. I loved the whole romance between Ygritte and Jon Snow. Anyway, I've decided to sort her into Slytherin because she's not loyal to Jon, even though she loved him. I did think that maybe she would have left her wildlings and escaped with Jon, but she didn't. She remained loyal to them. But she was very brave and courageous. She was a born fighter. She was always against the crows, the people of the Brothers of the Night Watch. So yeah, I've put her in Gryffindor. And last but not least, the last character I'm going to be sorting for you guys today is Tywin Lannister. Had to end it with a Lannister. Yeah, he's obviously a Slytherin. And again, that's not because he's a bad guy, even though he is. But most bad guys tend to be ambitious and cunning. So that's why most bad guys are in Slytherin, I guess. But yeah, he is ambitious and cunning, and he did what it took to get where he wanted. He hated his son Tyrion. He wanted Tyrion dead. He even wrongly sentenced his own son to death, even though he knew he was innocent. And I love Tyrion Lannister, by the way. I think he's my favourite character. I think I decided that a long time ago. Or one of my favourite characters anyway. He is definitely a natural leader. It seems to me that he is like automatically the hand of the king for Joffrey and Tommen, I think, before he died. I love his death. Absolutely love his death. I was so proud and happy for Tyrion when he managed to kill him. Yes, that was a very satisfying murder for me. So there you have it. They are some of the Game of Thrones characters that I've sorted into their Hogwarts houses. Please let me know what you thought in the comments. If you agree or disagree with my sortings, let me know down below. Like I said earlier on in the video, I would like to do a second part of this to characters that live on to Series 8. And I would also like to do a few more Game of Thrones videos. Maybe like one a month, just to kind of weave them in between my Harry Potter videos. So yeah, let me know if that sounds good to you. But like I said, Harry Potter is still my #1 subject. I remain loyal to the wizarding world. If you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to leave a like, because that would mean a lot to me. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already, then please don't forget to subscribe to join my little magical corner. I make videos every single week, so come and subscribe to join the fun. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.